Nobody wanted him. Not the first shelter, not the second, not the 12 families who walked past his kennel, looked at that massive gray head, and kept moving. He was 90 pounds of muscle and stillness, amber eyes that didn't blink, a jaw that made grown men step back without knowing why. They called him Ghost. And for 3 years, Ghost watched the world walk away, until the morning Sarah walked in, and everything changed. To understand why Ghost chose her, you have to go back to the beginning. Ghost was surrendered at 14 months old. No reason given, just a leash handed over a front desk counter and a door closing behind someone who never looked back. He was placed at Nashville Animal Rescue, a gray block room, a metal bowl, a concrete floor that stayed cold no matter the season. He didn't pace, he didn't bark, he didn't destroy his bedding. He just sat, watching, waiting. The volunteers called him calm. The intake coordinator called him intense. 2 families came in the first month, both left without him. The first said his stare made their children uncomfortable. The second said he felt like too much dog, too serious, too still. By month 6, Ghost had been passed over 41 times. By year 2, the staff had quietly stopped putting him on the featured adoption list. Some dogs, they told each other in low voices, just aren't meant to be family dogs. They were wrong. But what happened next would change everything they believed about him. Sarah wasn't looking for a project. She wasn't trying to save anyone. She was 28 years old, living alone in Nashville, and she had exactly one requirement. She wanted a dog that felt like company. Not a lap dog, not something that trembled under thunder, something that filled a room the way a real presence fills a room. Solid, steady, there. She visited the shelter on a cold Saturday in February. She had a list. Ghost was not on it. He was in Kennel 14, gray and white, 90 pounds of quiet muscle, natural ears, slightly forward, amber eyes. Not darting, not desperate, just watching her like he watched everyone, like he was reading something in the air just above her shoulder. Sarah stopped. She stood in front of Kennel 14 for a long moment. Ghost looked at her, not at the door, not at the floor, at her, just her. The volunteer beside her cleared her throat. He does that with everyone. People find it unsettling. Sarah didn't find it unsettling. She found it honest. "What's his story?" she asked. The volunteer exhaled slowly. "Surrendered at 14 months, we've had him almost 3 years, never bitten anyone, never shown aggression. He just watches. People say it feels like being guarded. They don't know if that's sweet or terrifying." Sarah looked at Ghost for another long moment. Ghost looked back, steady, patient, like a question that had already been answered on his end and was simply waiting for her to catch up. "I'll take him." If you've ever felt truly seen by an animal, really seen, you already know why stories like this one matter. Subscribe. You won't want to miss what comes next. The first night was quiet in a way Sarah hadn't expected. Ghost walked the entire house before he did anything else. Every room, every window, the back door, the front door. He moved deliberately, unhurried, cataloging each space the way someone checks the locks before they can finally rest. Then he came back to the living room, circled once, and lay down in the center of the floor. Not on the couch, not in the dog bed Sarah had set up, in the center, where he could see every doorway at once. Sarah sat beside him on the floor. She didn't pull him close or ask him to perform affection he hadn't offered. She just sat. After 20 minutes, Ghost put his chin on her knee. No fanfare, no wagging, just the quiet certainty of a decision already made, the way something settling into place sounds like nothing at all. Sarah didn't move for a long time. Weeks passed. Ghost's routines revealed themselves slowly, like chapters opening one at a time. Every morning before Sarah's alarm, he would rise and do his rounds. Kitchen, living room, hallway, back door, front door. Then he'd return to the center of the floor and lie back down. Job checked, world accounted for, the day permitted to begin. He ate only after she ate. He slept each night in the hallway between the front door and Sarah's bedroom. Not against the wall, not in the way, exactly in the middle, like a compass needle that had found its north and had no intention of drifting. Neighbors noticed him. Most crossed to the other side of the street. A woman 2 doors down called the landlord. A man at the mailbox said, loud enough to be heard, that he didn't understand why anyone would want a dog like that. Sarah smiled and kept walking. Ghost walked beside her, unhurried, unbothered. He already knew something the neighbors didn't. People who understand this kind of bond never watch just one story. If this is already in your chest, share it with someone who needs it today. And then, at exactly 2:19 a.m. on a Thursday in April, everyone found out. Sarah had been asleep for 3 hours when Ghost started barking. Not the soft sound he made when a car backfired outside. Not the single quiet bark for the back door. This was full-chested, continuous, relentless, a sound that didn't ask for attention. It demanded it. Sarah was on her feet before she was fully awake. Ghost was at the front door, every 90 pounds of him rigid, hackles raised from his neck to the base of his tail, body locked, voice rolling out of him like something that couldn't be stopped. Sarah looked through the sidelight window. A figure on the front porch, hood up, hands on the door handle. Not knocking, trying. As the porch light clicked on, the figure froze. Then they saw Ghost, pressed against the glass, not barking anymore, completely, absolutely silent, amber eyes locked, still as stone. The kind of still that is somehow louder than any sound in the world. The figure ran. Sarah called 911 with shaking hands. Officers arrived in 7 minutes. They found fresh footprints in the mulch beside the porch. A neighbor 3 houses down had a back window forced open the same night. Another neighbor's car had been entered. Sarah's front door had not been touched. The responding officer looked at Ghost sitting calm beside Sarah's leg and said, "Ma'am, that dog just did his job." Sarah crouched down on the entryway floor and put both arms around Ghost's neck. He didn't move. He just let her hold him for as long as she needed. The same dog 41 families had cast by. The same dog the staff stopped listing. The same 90 pounds people called too intense, too serious, too still. He had been doing this from the very beginning. Every morning walk through the house, every night in the hallway, every steady amber stare that people mistook for a warning, when it was always only a promise. It was never aggression. It was never too much. It was exactly what it needed to be. The shelter coordinator heard the story a month later. She called Sarah directly. Her voice was quiet. "He waited 3 years for you," she said. "I think he knew something we didn't." Today, Ghost is 5 years old. He still does his morning rounds. He still sleeps in the hallway. He still places himself between Sarah and the front door whenever someone knocks. The center of the living room floor has a permanent impression where he lies each evening. Sarah has stopped apologizing for it to guests. Last week, a friend asked her if she was ever afraid of him. Sarah thought for a moment. "No," she said, "never once. Because some dogs don't need you to teach them loyalty. Some dogs already know exactly who they are and what they're for. They just need one person to stop walking past the kennel and actually look." Did Ghost choose Sarah or did Sarah choose Ghost? Tell me in the comments. And if you've ever opened your door to a dog the world had already given up on, share their name below. Someone reading this tonight needs to hear it.